Hi, we're here with Carolyn.
Hi.
And we really just have kind of one question we'd like to ask, which is, what is one thing you want clinicians and or researchers to know about people with lived experience with pain?
Okay, well, I think that one thing is A, we're human, but B, I think that, a lot of times people who have chronic pain end up really disempowered in our medical systems. We become sort of passive participants in our own stories, and we sort of are told to expect that other people will fix us. And what ends up happening is you internalize a lot of that because a lot of people can't fix you, or they tell you they can fix you and then they can't. And so you become pretty disempowered and disenfranchised in our systems. And so I think that the one thing that I would just want to remind people is that I have capacity. And the more that I feel in control of that capacity, the better my life will be, whether or not my pain levels necessarily change. If I feel like I'm in control and if I feel like I have the capacity to be able to make changes in my life and be more empowered in my healthcare, I think that that's really important. So allowing clients to have that control and making sure that you're checking in to make sure that they don't feel like a passive participant in their health.
Yeah, those are really good points. And I just wanted to expand a little bit on that last one. I might circle back to the first one too, but I'm expanding a little bit on that last point. What do you think is a way for people with lived experience to gain that capacity? Like you're saying, like, I have capacity. How do they get that? How do they get there? Is there a way to get there? Is there something that allows you to sort of find that space?
I mean, I think it totally depends on the person. I think for me, I felt a little bit like I fell through the cracks in the system. And so I started doing research on my own. I started reading books on my own. Where the things really shifted for me was reading some of Norman Doidge's work on the brain that changes itself, the brain that heals itself, and really understanding the neuroplastic components of my own body. And I think that part of it, all of a sudden I sort of realized, like, perhaps there were things that I could be doing outside of what my clinicians were wanting me to do. And again, taking some of that control back, I think was really important. I also think too, as clinicians, you have the opportunity to potentially be able to highlight some of the areas that your clients have capacity that maybe they've forgotten or it's just not brought to light. In the work that I do with Pain BC as a coach, that's often a lot of the times what I'm doing with clients is helping to highlight the areas that they do have capacity, because they often do feel so disempowered and they forget that they have all of this capacity inside of them.
Which sounds like a really cool role where you actually kind of get to be that person to, so by the way, you can do this. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's true. Clinicians should be work in that space, but neat that something that you're doing to give back in that is helping that journey along. I think that's really cool. Yeah,
and I think this conference is such a great example of the number of people here who are people with lived experience being able to move into positions of power where they then can do that for the folks coming up through the system next. So I am hopeful that I can do more of that. So
awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your one thing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.